Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to secure lines to a couple different types of deck fittings, and I will admit to you right off the bat that this is not overly exciting. So let me tell you a sea story that may put this in a different light for you. When I was a young coxswain, we were called on a medevac to pick up a guy off a tugboat who'd been injured and needed medical attention. And when we got there, he was handling a line and it had run on him, and it melted these 3 fingers completely off. Not to be reattached, they were gone. And I'm going to tell you, I've never heard a human being scream like this guy did. It pierced your soul. And I said to myself right then and there, I'm going to pay attention to this line handling stuff, because that did not look fun. And since you're going to be having your kids and your spouse handle lines for you, maybe this will make this a little bit more exciting. All right, so let's get after it. We're going to start off with the least controversial of all, the post or the single bit, and we'll work our way to the more controversial fittings. All right, let's get after it. All right, the first fitting we're going to talk about is a post fitting. And depending on where it's located on the boat, it can be called different things. If it's up on the bow, it's called a Samson's post. If it's back aft here on the center line, it's referred to as a tow bit. If you look at the Harbor Master boat over here, they've got a tow bit and they have quarter bits. The posts are on the quarter of the boat. These are also referred to as a crucifix. When you're working this, all the work, this is your work area right here, not back here. When you start doing anything, you want to keep the line, keep everything very clean. I would recommend that you not have any jewelry on. We never wore any jewelry on any working boat that I was on. If you're recreational, it's a little bit different, I guess. But just be aware that if you do have a ring on or something, I've had my finger peeled like a banana, and it's not very fun. That will cure you from wearing that. Get a rubber one, I don't know. Anyway, so let's talk about working this this fitting. In preparation for this video, I wanted to make sure that what I'm teaching you or showing you is current information. So I went to online, I went to the Boat Crew Seamanship Manual, what the Coast Guard is currently using, and lo and behold, 43 years later, they're still teaching the same thing. So here it is. Round turn. This is called a round turn. If somebody says to you, take a turn, this is what they're talking about. Take a turn. Let me tell you a quick sea story. My partner has a recreational boat that he keeps on a mooring, and the guy that services his mooring was out, and my partner came alongside, and he had a high school kid on board, and they had just grabbed a mooring that they were going to work, and the line started to get taut, and the old man said to the kid, take a turn. Well, he never explained to him what that term means, and the kid just standing there, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So my partner said to him, take a turn around that cleat. Again, he had no idea what he was talking about. So this is what it is, take a turn. Well, the rest of the story, the line ran on the kid, and it was covered in barnacles and algae, and it made a mess. I mean, it cut the kid up. They had to go back to the dock and get it all cleaned out. So take your time with your kids, take your time with your spouse, and talk about this. Take a turn means take a round turn. What's going on with the round turn? 360 degrees. It constricts around this post. It creates friction. You're in a tug of war with whatever's back there. Now, if it's not very heavy, it's not a big deal. But if you're on a commercial boat and that's tons back there, it is a big deal. That's how you get sucked into the bit. So, round turn, and this is a working turn, half of a figure 8. And what the purpose of this is just to give you control. If it starts going too fast, one of two things has to happen. The guy who's driving the boat needs to slow down, or you need to get the full figure 8 on there. You might even need to get more, depending on what's going on. Okay, so working turn. What this does for you is if you have to pay line out, you can, or if you have to take up slack, you can. But you know what a round turn's doing now. It's the round turn creates that friction, it constricts around the post, and it's the start of getting this line secured. Okay, now like I said, a round turn and 3 figure-8s. Now we want to get the figure-8s on here. Notice how I'm not getting my hands in the mess here. I come over, I put this line on the ear here, and then I let it go. Boom. I'm not going to get sucked in. I'm not going to end up with a booger hooker missing 3 fingers, okay? Same way on the other side. Flip it over, let it go. Flip it over, let it go. You can do this on a cleat. You can do on all the deck fittings that we're talking about. You can do this. You kind of have to be conscious of it until it becomes second nature, but that's the deal. 3 figure-8s. I need one more on here. Boom. Now it's done. I can do a round turn up here, get my line all pretty, but the crux of this is a round turn and 3 figure-8s. Okay, we're not talking brain surgery. This is real easy to do. On all of these videos, what I'm trying to do is give you the tools, and I want you to understand why you're doing this. Do you have to use a round turn on everything that you do? No. And we're going to get into this when we start talking cleats. But I want you to understand what a round turn does. I want you to understand what a working turn does. I want you to know what the figure-8s are doing for you. They're locking everything in. Okay? All right, so let's move on. All right, we're going to secure a line to a cleat, and cleats are by far the most popular deck fitting out there. You find them everywhere. They're on boat docks. They're on the gunnel of a boat. They're on pylons. They're everywhere. Regulator type boats, the center consoles have them vertically on the inside of the gunnel. The boat behind me has them welded at an angle. I've seen them welded on bulkheads. I've seen them welded on decks. So depending on how that line is going to fair lead to them, or how you're going to get it secure, you may not be able to do a full round turn. Now there's a method of securing a line to a cleat called the cleat hitch that's very popular with sailboats and recreational boaters, and we're going to go over that. But the controversy part for me is I've watched a lot of videos, and you know, they're putting the hammer down that this is the only way to do this, and I don't agree with that. I think you have to see what is going to work for the application that you're currently in. Okay, so we're going to do that. One of the decisions you're going to have to make is, you know, in my last video I recommend that your mooring lines have an eye on one end and nothing at the other, bitter end. The bitter end is the working end. So if you hand a line handler the eye and just have them put it on the cleat, you get the responsibility for doing all the work on your boat. If you give them the working end, you don't know what their training level is, you don't know what their experience level is, and it might not work out that great. So my recommendation is keep the working end with your people, because you're working with them, you're training them. Okay, so we're just going to put this eye on the cleat. I'm just going to throw it on. Depending on where the line fair leads, this is going this way. You want to go around the horn here, not like this. Okay, and mine, the way I was taught, round turn and 3 figure-8s. Boom, done. Okay, the cleat hitch does not do that. They don't use the full round turn like I have on here now. It's almost a 3/4 turn. They come back and they do an underhanded half hitch, and that's it. Boom, done. And this works good because it locks both sides of the line down. When this goes taut, it's pinching both of these lines. And if you don't have a lot of stress or whatever on the boat, on this hitch, they're fine. Now, if you're watching this video and you're going to go to work on a tugboat or a construction tender or something like that, I would only use this hitch on something that's not going to get a lot of strain, because this will pull out. If there's, back to the tug of war thing, if there's a lot of pressure on this side, it can pull it out. But this is definitely a worthy hitch. Okay, let's talk about this underhanded half hitch. This is also called a weather hitch, and I have seen people do weather hitches instead of figure eights on every one of them. And it looks like macrame on the cleat, but it's not going to go anywhere. And if that's how you want to do it, you do you. I will tell you this about weather hitches. Here in New England in the wintertime, if you put a weather hitch on your line, you're not going to get it out if it freezes. You're going to have to get boiling water, or you're going to have to cut the line off. So that's something to keep in mind. But a weather hitch is a nice tool to have, especially if you're using a line that's a little short, you can't get your full 3 figure eights on. You throw a weather hitch on, or a couple weather hitches, and it'll lock this thing down. It works out great. So again, a little controversy. I think when you start getting people to tell you there's only one way to do a particular thing, you want to question that a little bit. So now you know why things work, how they work, and now you can get your boat secured. So let's move on. All right, let's talk about securing the eye to a cleat. Before we get to the securing part, let's talk about the eye. This is an amazing splice. It retains more than 90% of the overall strength of the double braided nylon, and if you use it correctly. So to use it correctly, you want even strain on both sides of this, of the legs going on the eye. So when you secure to a cleat, you want to make sure that that's happening. Now, there are a lot of different ways to secure an eye to a cleat. If you don't want it to come off, you run it through the center, split the ears, and boom, it's not coming off. But it really restricts you. You can't, there's other things that you can't do. If you're getting ready to rig for slip, if you and your spouse you're getting ready to get underway and you don't have anybody to handle lines for you, you can rig your line to slip. The last line that's coming off, you may just hook one ear of the eye and come back. We're fair leading aft on this one. So you get ready to get underway, you just whip it off, it comes off. Another way, you have your eye on here, you just loop the cleat, bring it back when you're ready to go, take the end of the line and come in, good to go. You may want to, you guys in the Ozarks, you guys all raft off together, there's a thing called dipping the eye. So if you have your eye and you have to have it open like this, the other guy can bring his eye in, and you go under the eye and then over the ears of the cleat, and now both of you are hooked up, and either one can take their line off and get underway now. If somebody's out doing their thing, you can still get your line off and not have to worry about affecting them. This is very effective, called dipping the eye. And I'll show you. This guy can come right off. That was the first line on. You can also run and go through the center and just hook one eye and fair lead this forward. You're still putting equal strain on your eye, but there's a lot of different options here when you're talking about securing a line to a cleat. So when somebody tells you there's only one way, it's not necessarily the truth. You want to figure out what's going to work the best for you for the situation you're in. All right, I think we're wrapping this stuff up with the lines and securing your boat. We're going to get into to driving the boat. I guess that's what everybody wants to do, but the next video we're going to start driving a boat down, and again we're just going to do like we've done with this line stuff. We're going to start off nice and easy, and then we'll build on each thing. All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next video.